Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Foxworth Theory. And I am your host, Eugenia Foxworth. Thank you for joining us today. This show is about business, entertainment, fashion, and the arts. We are going to be talking to movers and shakers from all over the world, allowing them to tell their stories right here on the Foxworth Theory. This week, our guest is LaVerna J. Frank Fountain, the founder of Meaningful Communications Matter, LLC. She began her journey in the U.S. Army and found success later as faculty at Columbia University. Now retired, she teaches people to bridge the divides during this polarizing time in history. As a respected expert in conflict resolution, um, I know her a different way, so I have to say it the way that I know. Transformational speaking and communications. LaVerna shows us that the answer is in the room. Welcome.
Thank you, Eugenia. It's just so good to see you. It is just wonderful to see you.
And you as well. Now, I would like to ask you a few questions that may have been in my mind for a while. Growing up, did you imagine that your life would unfold in the way that it has?
No, no, I had no. If you had met me and one many years ago, you would have found a woman who had low self-esteem, who didn't really know what she was meant to do in life, and really was pretty lost, actually, just pretty darn lost.
That is a 360 for me. And I'm sure for my viewers who know you, I mean, it's astounding.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty blessed, Eugenia. I have to say it that way. I am pretty blessed because my life could have been one of those other stories of someone who just really threw it all away. And so I feel I'm one of those people who truly say there, but for the grace of God, because it was truly God's intervention in my life and bringing people just from all walks of life to me within my sphere, whether they knew it or not. They blessed me with little nuggets, and oftentimes it's just the little thing that you don't think about. When you're kind to someone, that little thing can change someone's world, and that happened to me.
That part I know, and we'll touch on that, or you will later, because I know the little nuggets that you wrote about in your book.
Yeah.
Now, who inspired you to do what you do today?
You know, a lot of people, again, it's not just one person. I went through this space of examining my life and saying, now that I'm at this age that I am, what should I be doing? And when I was at Columbia University, um, and I still am at Columbia in different ways now, but when I was there as the vice president, when I was there faculty, uh, much of my role was helping to bridge a divide between this Ivy League university and the local community. And it was also bridging a divide with elected officials and the media. And really, because I had done that all of my adult life, when I look back on it, it was like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, at this stage of your life, help people hear, help people see and hear what they may not be willing to look at and may not be willing to listen to. So it's a lot of people. It truly is. Yeah.
And I said your life is a 360 from what you said to me. I would say your life is a 720.
I've gone around it. Yes. Yes.
So I'd like to say congratulations on your contributions to
Mm,
Columbia
mm,
University. And
mm.
what experiences meant the most to you?
I think a few things. And it starts, my father actually lived in Harlem for a little while. And I wasn't born yet. I wasn't there. And he dropped that nugget on me one time about his time living in Harlem, and I was shocked. I was like, "What?" Because I grew up in this little town, this little community in Pennsylvania, and then I got to see this one facet of my dad, and that just it it shocked me. There was nothing there that made me think that he had had that experience. So when I was able to be at Columbia, when I was invited to be there in the very critical role I was invited to be a part of, it was walking the streets of Harlem and interacting with ordinary people that made all the difference. Now, I have to say, because a lot of people I interact with were not the ordinary people. I mean, I have to say that in Harlem there are mega leaders there, and so for me to be able to call them or go sit in their office or just have a cup of coffee with them, that was huge too. Um, they were, without a doubt, they were people who had cleared pathways for other people. And so I felt highly honored and privileged to be in a room with them, to be able to just learn from them. But then it was the ordinary person when I walked the streets and I would hear what they're saying and listen. That to me was no one can take that from me. No one. That's
And
like
I know. And you were in a very bold position. You needed armory.
I did.
And it's a wonder you can still hear from the sounds of the people in the Harlem community,
Yeah.
because I know exactly what you did,
Yeah.
and I know why they brought you in. But this is
Mhm.
for you to tell your
Yeah.
story, not me to tell your story. But I do commend you. I congratulate you, and I
Thank you.
honor you.
Yeah.
Now, what do you hope to achieve with your consultancy?
Ooh. Eugenia, that I'm not sure that we've ever lived at a time like this before. The amount of divisiveness, the amount of polarization, literally everything has become a political statement. And we families are being destroyed uh, by beliefs that are whether you get vaccinated or you don't get vaccinated, who you vote for, who you don't vote for. And people who should be loving each other are literally slamming doors and walking away. And a few people have talked with me, more than a few, just destroyed, distraught, and destroyed because they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to listen without creating the argument in their own head for what they believe in, automatically ready to defend their position. And it's so interesting because currently I do sacred listening sessions and I love them. They are very difficult to do because literally you're just holding what I consider sacred space to allow people to say what they want to say and create that space so other people can hear. I'm doing one on politics, and that is probably going to be one of race and politics have been two of the hardest ones to really to do. And I have my own views, and so I have to set all of me aside and try to hear a different viewpoint. And it's not just hear what's said, but it's hear what's not been said. How do I create space in myself to hear the fears that are being expressed? And oftentimes people have been, for lack of a better word, I'll say brainwashed, but they were raised a certain way. And so they think a certain way and their way is right, obviously, because they were raised that way. And yet they have the conflict within themselves. And so when you create space and you allow people to say what they want to say, express those things that they can't say publicly, all of a sudden you start to realize underneath of that is a whole lot of other stuff. And you start to get to the truth of what's happening inside of that individual. So my hope now is that I have the courage and the strength to keep doing that, to keep creating space and the compassion and love and understanding to hear. That's my hope. And it may just be one person that I can reach, but I'm okay with that. I just feel like we're in dire times, and I truly want to find a way for humanity to understand what it means to be a better human being. I guess that's what wakes me up in the morning.
Well, what you want is what most of us want. Someone said, why do you continue going to your office?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, because if you can help one person, that person can help someone else.
Yeah,
It's a chain reaction.
that's right.
And, and you answered part of my next question, which is, why do people have a tough time with
Mm.
conducting meaningful communications?
Yeah, yeah. Communications is very challenging. It is difficult. We see and hear based upon our own experiences, and those experiences inform what we see and hear. So we don't even recognize that we're filtering what's being shared with us. And since it's happening all the time with everyone, words mean something different to different people, the exact same word, because the experience associated with that word means something different to different people. And so we forget that we don't know what we don't know. It's the what part. We don't know what we don't know. We honestly do know there's some stuff we don't know. We know that. And we know that there are some stuff that we know, but we don't know what we don't know. And because we don't know that one thing, that what, we don't even know to look for it because we don't know it exists. And so when we encounter other human beings who are all carrying all their stuff with them, whatever that is, we have stuff, everyone's got their own experiences, their own lived worlds, and we encounter that with each other, we don't know what we're bringing into the room. So we think we're communicating, we're feeling really good, we're really expressing ourselves, and then a wall goes up. And we don't know what just happened with why that wall went up. Or someone responds in a negative way to what we thought was a positive thing. And we're like, well, what just happened? We genuinely don't know. And we are too vulnerable sometimes to ask. And I'm going to speak for myself because it was no easy feat being in a senior position at Columbia University. I did not go to an Ivy League university. That was not my background. I come from a very poor community. So I often felt like, uh, first of all, I felt blessed to be there, but I thought, why am I there? There's a mistake. I shouldn't be there. I'm still carrying with me all of the stuff inside of me. Stuff. And I'd be in meetings where people would be using words I didn't know what they were saying. Eugenia, they'd be saying some stuff I didn't know what they were saying. And so I had to get vulnerable and say, I really don't know what you just said to me. There is great strength in being vulnerable. I had the privilege, because I had to work with the community and I had to work with the media, of being able to say, if I don't understand you, I can't explain it to someone else. And so that gave me an open door to say, you need to break that down for me. What did you say? Can you clarify that for me? Or there were times when I had to say, did you just mean to offend me? Was that what you meant to do? I just want to make sure. I just need clarity right now. And when I could do that, when I could have the courage to face, and I'm just going to be honest, to face some older white men who, from my world, were more privileged than me, when I had the courage to say that, the energy in the room would change. And that takes courage. That takes something. And I'm blessed because I've been married for 40 years. I have a magnificent husband who I knew if I fell on my face, I could come home and he would just say, "Come on, baby, it's okay. You ready to go? We'll pack it up and leave." I had that. Many people don't have that cushion. Many people do not have that safety net. I did, and I recognized that. Um, so it's a scary thing to seek clarity, to expose your vulnerability, and attempt to better understand the people around you.
And you're expressing that is so helpful to so many. And at this point, even though I would like to continue, we have to take a short break. And we will be right back with our
Okay.
very special guest, LaVerna J. Fountain.
Mm.
Thank you.